A fighter's capacity to take harm is just as crucial in today's competitive mixed martial arts environment as their ability to deal it. Even the sharpest chins in the industry occasionally chip, though. We've chosen to examine 10 unexpected knockouts involving MMA celebrities who are well known for their granite chins in order to highlight the aforementioned argument. Now, without further ado and ranked in no particular order, let's take a look at 10 great chins that got cracked in MMA. Number 10. Nate Diaz vs. Josh Thompson. Stockton, California's Nate Diaz is an outspoken star who plays by his own rules. Of course, the 209's favorite son has also proven to be incredibly difficult to put away inside a UFC octagon. Despite having 12 professional losses on his record, Diaz has only been KO'd one time, excluding the doctor's stoppage against George Masvidal at UFC 241. Back in April of 2013 at UFC on Fox 7, Diaz faced former Strikeforce lightweight champion Josh "The Punk" Thompson. That evening, Thompson would pull off a remarkable feat that no other fighter has managed to repeat. After landing a nasty head kick in round 2, Thompson followed up with a flurry of big shots that would force the referee to put a stop to the contest. Bellevue was on the receiving end of a brutal beatdown. Nate Diaz remarkably remained conscious throughout the finish and has yet to be knocked out cold in 32 professional fights. Number 9. Robbie Lawler vs. Tyron Woodley. Over the years, we've seen ruthless Robbie Lawler in some absolute wars with fighters like Carlos Condit, Johnny Hendricks, and Rory McDonald. Amazingly, the former welterweight champ's chin has held up through some of the most violent contests the sport has ever produced. Given Lawler's almost superhuman ability to absorb damage, fans and pundits were shocked when the ruthless one was KO'd in the very first round by the chosen one, Tyron Woodley, at UFC 201. During the opening round, Woodley landed a murderous right hand that sent his opponent crashing to the mat. The chosen one would become one of only 2 men to KO the 44-fight veteran, with the other being Nick Diaz at UFC 47. Number 8. Frankie Edgar vs. Brian Ortega. Former lightweight champion Frankie Edgar has long been one of the UFC's most durable fighters. The New Jersey native's toughness was on full display at UFC 125 when Edgar was brutally hammered in one of the most one-sided opening rounds in the promotion's history, but still managed to rally and retain his title. While the Answer's jaw has failed him recently, the former champion competed in 28 professional bouts, primarily in the UFC, before suffering his first knockout loss. The man who delivered the first knockout blow would be featherweight contender Brian T-City Ortega. At UFC 222, T-City landed a vicious uppercut that put his opponent's lights out. In doing so, Ortega became the first man to finish the Answer. Now 39 years of age, Edgar has been put away twice since then. That said, in his prime, Frankie Edgar was nearly impossible to finish. Number 7. Michael Bisping vs. Dan Henderson 1. Michael the Count Bisping rarely gets credit for being as durable of a fighter as he was. The retired champ was only knocked out 3 times over the course of a 39-fight career, in which he competed with the best of the best. Of course, one of the reasons his chin seldom gets its due is because he was on the receiving end of a terrifying A-bomb courtesy of Dan Henderson. At UFC 100, Hendo landed a brutal right hand on the count that immediately put him to sleep. While Bisping was an extremely difficult fighter to knock out, the fact that he was the recipient of one of the most frequently replayed KOs in the promotion's history makes it easy to overlook the Brit's very sturdy chin. Number 6. Gegard Mousasi vs. Uriah Hall 1. Gegard Mousasi has somewhat quietly had a Hall of Fame-worthy career. The 35-year-old middleweight has held 6 world titles and has beaten several legends of the sport. Moreover, Mousasi is one of the most durable competitors in the game. He has competed in a whopping 56 professional bouts and has been KO'd just once in his entire career. At UFC Fight Night 75, Uriah Hall would land an incredible spin kick and flying knee combination that resulted in a highlight reel TKO victory. In doing so, Hall became the first and thus far only fighter to finish the reigning Bellator middleweight champ. While the Bellator star's chin is next level in terms of its durability, it was no match for Hall's explosive offense that evening. Number 5. Dan Henderson vs. Vitor Belfort 2. Dan "Hendo" Henderson is an MMA legend who is known for having one of the hardest red hands in the game. The former Olympic wrestler also could take a punch with the best of them. In fact, Hendo was well into his 40s, 43 to be exact, when he was knocked out for the very first time by Vitor the Phenom Belfort. At UFC Fight Night 32, in what would be the 40th professional fight of Henderson's career, the Phenom landed a devastating fight-ending head kick. Vitor Belfort and Gegard Mousasi are the only 2 fighters to ever KO the former Pride champion. That said, it's worth noting that both men accomplished the feat when Henderson was well past his prime. Number 4. Jose Aldo is Conor McGregor. Though he is among MMA's greatest featherweight champions, sadly, a large portion of fans best know Aldo as the man who was KO'd by Conor McGregor in 13 seconds. However, it's seldom mentioned that McGregor was actually the first person to knock Aldo out. Truth be told, the Brazilian's jaw has held up remarkably well in the 26 fights prior to his UFC 194 bout with the Irishman. Unfortunately for Aldo, when you're on the receiving end of one of the most famous knockout blows in combat sports, that's what people tend to remember the most. Still in his heyday, Jose Aldo was unquestionably a tough man to put to sleep. Number 3. Conor McGregor of Dustin Poirier. Love him or hate him, there is no denying that the notorious Conor McGregor is the biggest name in mixed martial arts today. The Irish striker has also proven to be one tough customer, as was on full display in his second bout with Nate Diaz in 2016. Moreover, McGregor also surprised pundits by lasting 10 rounds with Floyd Mayweather in his pro boxing debut. Heading into his UFC 257 rematch with Dustin the Diamond Poirier, the notorious one had never been knocked out in a mixed martial arts contest. Despite a competitive first round, Poirier ended up putting together a series of shots that led to a TKO victory in the second. While the setback may have been demoralizing for McGregor, there was definitely a silver lining. The TKO loss set the stage for a very lucrative rubber match between the lightweight stars at UFC 264 this coming July. Number 2. Anderson Silva's Chris Weidman won. Anderson the Spider Silva is MMA royalty and is known for being the longest reigning champion to ever compete in the UFC. The Brazilian became one of the sport's biggest stars by putting together an impressive collection of highlight reel knockout victories. Forrest Griffin, Vitor Belfort, and Chael Sonnen are just a few of the fighters to be on the receiving end of the Silva knockout. Still, the Spider's ability to both avoid and handle damage also played a crucial role in his success. Heading into his first encounter with the All-American Chris Weidman, Silva hadn't lost a contest in almost 7 years and had never been knocked out. While some insiders felt Weidman's high-level wrestling might give the champ some problems, few expected the Long Islander to score a knockout victory over an elite striker like Silva. Of course, when UFC 162 finally arrived, Weidman managed to do the unthinkable by dethroning the longest reigning middleweight champ with a perfectly placed left hand. It would be a career-defining moment for Weidman and a turning point for Silva, whose skills began to decline following the loss, due in part to the brutal leg injury he suffered in their rematch. Number 1. George Masvidal vs. Kamaru Usman 2. George Gamebird Masvidal has long been considered one of the most exciting fighters in MMA. Competing professionally since 2003, Gamebird has also proven to be an extremely durable fighter over the course of his lengthy career. Prior to UFC 261, the Miami native had only been KO'd once in 49 professional bouts and had never been finished inside a UFC octagon. Unfortunately, all of that changed when he faced welterweight champion Kamaru Usman for the second time in April of 2021. That evening, Kamaru Usman showed the significant improvements he had made in his striking, landing a massive right hand in round 2 that instantly put Masvidal to sleep. While his championship dreams may have been put on hold for the foreseeable future, the fact that Gamebird has only suffered 2 knockout losses over a 50-fight span is still a remarkable feat. As always, if you guys enjoyed the video, please be sure to let me know by leaving a like and subscribing to our channel. Apart from that, thanks so much for watching, and we'll see you on the next one.